define the aspect of Bhairava. So first character that we see in the play is about Bhairava, the god, and the entire town is festive. They're going to offer sacrifice because of the construction, and we're happy that the god is blessing them very much in regard to their prosperity, and the prosperity is in relation to the negative part of the other kingdom. That's in connotation. And Bhairava, the cry of the common man, saying, Bhairava, please seek us, like come to us. They're seeking Bhairava to make sure that the amends are met. For instance, Amba calling out for Suman. So that's about Bhairava. Moving on to the next character, Amba. So we had a storyboard too made for Amba, and how Amba is crying in and off throughout the play, calling for the son Suman, and we know that Suman is no more, and he's being taken as part of a youth to the building of this embankment. And we know that it's like the story is done, and it's like she's like a mad woman crying for the lost son. That's about the character Amba, and Amba brings in a lot of sympathy, empathy to the common people there. And most of our petitions which we submit, even though we have many vital systems, email IDs given in portals saying contact us, like you can access any of the officials and all that, still we know how it happens, right? Be it the law case that we're going to file, other delays that are present in the politics. So Amba is not a person who's there as a mad woman, but Amba is a character which can be found in every one of us. That's how we can picture Amba. And coming to Crown Prince, so Abhijit is the Crown Prince, and we know from the start Abhijit is there, has a person who's willing to do something of his own mind's thought. He's not going in accord to the king saying that you have to rule the world, and he's not having the notion that, okay, I should take up the entire kingdom, I should conquer, I should throw my abilities at the people, make them subjugated. No, he is acting according to his own will, and he has decided what is freedom to his own self. That's the character of Crown Prince. And next we have Vibhuti, who's taking much pride in the construction of the dam. And we know it's in 25 years that he's constructed this dam. And when it comes to Vibhuti, we know that he's a person who's a little vile in nature, because there are people in the play, like first citizen, second citizens, addressing us, telling Vibhuti has taken the idea from someone else, and Vibhuti is so cunning that he knows how to control even water and all that dialogues. So Vibhuti is not afraid of the curses of the common man too. He's ready to move on to any heights to attain his glory. So that's how Vibhuti character is present when it comes to the king Ranajit. He is very sure that his masculine nature should be present. That's how he's very sure of. And the way he functions also, he's in a place that he will arrest his own son. Remember, he's putting his own son in a tent. He's arresting his own son, adopted son, that is the Crown Prince. So that's the level of control he's having over the kingdom, and he wants his territory to expand. That's how the king is present when it comes to the minister. He also plays a role when giving out the information. We know background information through these characters, and the uncle is Vishwajit here, and we know uncle is the person who is helping Abhijit, the Crown Prince, in moving into action towards the final part of the climax. And Vishwajit, we know in between that he is giving a piece of paper, letter, and I think that letter holds the plan of the river, of the embankment where the weak points are present. And Batu is a madman character present in the play. The last part here, we are in the last part of Batu. He is crying for the two grandsons who are missing. And like Suman, even the two grandsons are taken for the work in the embankment, and people around are telling, see, take that as a sacrifice. Take that as a sacrifice for the country. It's like as a Bhairava has given your people a prestigious role and taken them up. And I know how it will sound. Will a prince go and work there? Will all the kingly elect people allow their sons to work? That's in question. But when it comes to the common man, yeah, what is there in life? See, we've done a great job, and you're like a martyr. And even today, by the children, There's blood in his head, and that's how we picture Batu there. And the next is about the role of chorus. The chorus brings about a good picture of what is happening, the background, be the fire which is going to come up. The chorus is the one telling to us that no, there's going to be victory to the flames of Bhairava, and victory to the flames. All that is being pictured through the chorus. They play a great significance in the play. The narrator, though, gives us a good impression about how the play is progressing. The narrator makes us move along with the play. That's how it moves. And the citizens, there are many citizens throughout, and every citizen brings out a key significance to the play. Even though like first citizen holds one dialogue or two dialogue, every citizen is attributing to the play, and strangers are few characters present there, talking about the light, fire ceremony, which is going to happen. And the schoolmaster and the boys, we find them in the start where the school boys are taken by the master for the festivity. And the boys are the ones who tell us that, see, their religion is rotten. We can't be friends with them. And the small boys are imprinted with the thought that they are having a high projected nose and their facial features are the ones correct to rule kingdoms. And how schools imprint, the education system imprint cultures, values, all that can be found through the characters of schoolmaster and boy, and how the kingdom is not giving much reverence to the teachers or to the common man, how they're not paying much amount of fee to the school teachers or to the common people, but rather they are taking money to build dams which can stop water flow for the other country. So that's what we find. The common layout of any system, even today, we find the same play to be projecting the schoolmaster and the boy. Coming to Sanjay, Sanjay is the crown prince. He is also, along with the crown prince, he is the heir to the kingdom. And Sanjay is not a person who's very determined like the crown prince. And every time crown prince will be telling him, hey, take on your own path, okay? You should have your own goals. And that's what we find Sanjay to be. And when it comes to the role of Ganesh, we find Ganesh is a character. Okay, Ganesh is a character who is present from the other side of Shivtarai, and Dhananjay is also along with Ganesh. They're coming there to meet the king and find out how their justice part will be met. That's how we are moving into seeing the characters of the play. So these are the main characters that you should be taking into account. Coming on to the themes of the play. The first part is about religion. Religion is a conflict even today. So be it the hijab issue that we face and many other controversies which we have. So religion is one of the themes addressed in the play. For instance, they're saying the religion is rotten and that's why we should not give them water. And so many other aspects are pictured in the play. And when it comes to education, be it the school boys or the schoolmaster, how they are telling that, no, our education should imprint in the boys that our customs are greater than our customs, our moral values are greater compared to the other side, compared to the other cultures. So education system, how it is imprinting, how it's creating an impact in the minds of children is what we picture. Next is about the stereotypes. Both the kingdom, like be it Shivtarai or be it the Muktha, Uttarakhand, both the kingdoms have strong value system. They say ours is the greatest. And the other side also say, see, God didn't have time to create them. Seriously, see their faces, how they are, and they accuse each other. And that's how the conflict arises. And stereotypes of people, how they feel only the high-bridge noses people should rule the kingdom. And the people with good brains, these are the people with good brains. We have a good culture, which is showing people what to do. All that are the stereotypes that we find. And next is about the dam mission. I mean, dam is addressed as a mission in the play. Dam is addressed as a mission in the play. And here, when it comes to the construction of the dam, how 25 years they've taken hard work and how many lives have been lost, how many children, how many young youth have lost their lives in the construction of the dam. And the allied society, the kingly state is there with great honor in the kingdom. They're just taking credit for the great construction of the mission. But there are still other lay people in the kingdom like Battu, Amba, crying that their sons, their grandsons are lost during the process. Next is about nature and man. So when it comes to nature and man, we see how here nature versus man, that nature is about the construction of the dam, and here man is about, we can take the role of Vibhuti. So Vibhuti, how he was very confident in telling, hey, come on, God has created water and I'm creating means to stop the water. So that's the conflict between nature versus man here. So how the natural flow of the river, the natural course of the river, how it is stopped, how it is interpreted through the functionings of man, just because they were greedy enough to stop the waterfall so that those ores was in their place, so that the fields of the other kingdom, Shiotara, will dry up. And man took up the whole to build a machine, to build a dam to stop the course of the water flow. So that's how we find nature versus man conflict in the play. Next is about modernity, how we are advancing in our daily base. But when we are advancing too, we find that, yeah, the advancement and everything is good, right? Like every advancement, they say it is of good sort. Because imagine if we want to do everything by our own mechanism, if we have to walk a long distance, we have two-wheelers, four-wheelers, many needs are met. But modernity, to how far is it applicable? Is it useful? The other side of modernity is what we picturize. And when it comes to technological advancements, there are many interventions into a human life. How we take up many things into a negative tone is what we find. Next is about the destruction of nature, which tells about how the river bodies, waterfalls, the water body is diverted. The natural course of the river will change. The minerals, everything has a turn. So how we are doing all these turns and twists, man-made turns and twists through our science and technology is what we picturize. The plight of common man. Yeah, people build dams, people construct many things, but plight of a common man when it comes to the salary of the school teacher, or how each man, be the flower seller is having the urge to give to the person, the saint, right? That is Abhijit. So how every common man is still there, and one person is asking the trader, I mean, how the seller is carrying lamps for the festival, saying, hey, can you just give me one lamp? I just want one lamp here. Can you just give me that one lamp? So how people are still present without much of brightness in their life, but the government, how they are spending more on the construction of dam, and how the festival is filled with lights, how they have money to spend on the lights, but a common man is not having a single lamp to hold in his house. So that part is also we address to the plight of a common man. And when it comes to the next part of humanitarian impulses, when it comes to humanitarian impulses, we see that the crown prince is in the prime role, and his impulse was individual freedom. Hey, come on, the waterfall should be free. It can't be tamed. The waterfall should not be tamed was his entire idea. And even he felt, hey, I'm not sure, I can't be in the kingdom ruling, and I can't be there in the atmosphere of conquering places. I want myself to flow, it's like the waterfall, into various places. I want to learn many things, and my individual freedom was is the prime thing, like the waterfall. And that's what he found to be the right thing. And finally, like how he picturized himself, he was carried out by the water. And that's one of the main aspects, humanitarian impulses, that we can find in Abhijit and every other person too. For instance, even Vibhuti, he constructed the mighty dam, and he was very sure that, come on, like, it's my skill of building a dam. So that's how everyone are pictured. And even Vibhuti was very sure, if someone is going to destroy my dam, I've kept death as a guard. Death is there as a guard. And for sure, they will die. That's how their pulses worked. And moving on to the next theme, we find the other side of science. For instance, how this machinery, now we have so many dams. Even in Karnataka, we have around maybe more than 100 and 200 dams. But when this play was projected, and when the happenings in the late 70s, 80s, we find the other side of science happening. So that's why we find the dam has a huge protest from the crown prince. And next is about man versus machine. So here we saw about nature versus man, and we find the Vibhuti and many others against nature versus man. But when it comes to machine versus man, so here we can see also the fight of Abhijit maybe. Abhijit fighting over the machine, that is the dam. There are other side of a person too, right? So it is like Abhijit and the dam, and it is the waterfall's victory that is, the waterfall is broken, but it is taking Abhijit also as one of the sacrifice. And man versus machine is a conflict even today. It can be of any technology based. Even today, our mobile phones. Somehow, we can't tell we are addicts of many things, but for sure, be it an addict of Android and other technology, yes, for sure. We can't survive without a day you moving into the social media platform. And that's how it's occupying us. We like our sometimes our fingers tend to we don't get any notification. We tend to look into our phone. Early morning, you rise up, you just see who has messaged you. That's how it works. So man and machine is not a conflict in the play, but it's a conflict which is going to prevail, which is prevailing. And in the near future, too, everyone predict that it's a conflict that will persist. And a stop to that can be only when man's greediness, man is able to control his own self. Only when that conflict can be stopped, put an end to. When the king's Ranjit's aim to conquer would have been stopped, the construction of a dam would have been stopped. So it applies everywhere, right? Now, coming to the next theme, it's about social injustice. So social injustice to the common man, and also how the Shudra people, they were stopped the water, and when it comes to Namdipas also, how the common movement between the two kingdoms were struck, coming to a standstill, and how the allied zone have used this element of power to bring in injustice is what we find in the play. Next is about the clogged mindset. When Shudra people are walking into the festivity zone, into Uttarakhand, they tell, hey, these people are stopping the water, and they also have a mindset which is very conservative. They have their own principles. They don't look beyond. And the clock mindset can be like when you're going to tame a water, like similar how it is going to be of a stoppage. Similar to that, when the mindset of every man, be it Vibhuti, be it the king, the clogged mindset can be picturized. And last part is about the concept of humanity. So humanity, Abhijit found that everyone should have water, and be it every common man had humanity in him, saying, "Hey, how will the other side people survive without water?" But the kings never felt that. The ministers, the bodyguards, the other people in the kingdom, never. I mean, in the king's palace, said, "Hey, our king is very good in charity. He will give water. Let them come and ask. He will give water." But the common man was the only one, like the flower seller, others feeling for the Shuttarai people that, oh my God, their fields will come to an end. What will they do? And even Dhananjay had this mindset that my people paid tax to me, and I'm in a place which is of no help that I can be to them. And so please take me as a person who's under arrest. So the concept of humanity is present here and there throughout the play, telling us that that should be the victory part. That should be the one which should be free-flowing in our humanity. So these are the few things that we come in across the play. Hope it is clear, children. We move on into the last part of the analysis. Coming to the title of the play, Muktha, Dhara. It's connoting to the mountain stream arising, and Mukta means liberated in Hindi. Many of you will know that. So here it comes the climax, Mukta Dhara. So the waterfall is being liberated, And the prince is also liberated. He was not there as a caged one, ruling over kingdoms, not listening to his father, but he was a one who did what he wanted according to his individual freedom. And he did free the river, and the river, I mean, waterfall, and the waterfall too is liberated in the end. So the liberation aspect of the crown prince and the waterfall can be in align to the title. So coming to when it comes to the title justification, the apt title Muktha is being produced to the play, one act play. So next, these are few lines which are taken from the play. So first is about those who are out in the street have greater needs of lamp than those who are in their houses. So this is when the lamp seller, remember, one of the person will be selling lamps. So that person, when he is selling lamps, or the citizen will be telling, hey, can't you give me one lamp? It would be great if I have a lamp. So the need of a common man, need of a middle class citizen, that is more vital than bringing out buildings, structures, constructions, which tell, hey, we are so much developed. The economic progress of a city, of a country, should be in line with a middle class or a person belonging to a below poverty line, and not in line with the elite people. That's what we find. So the lamp, the light is more needed in the for the people who are in the streets and not who are having their house filled with lights. That's the meaning that we get. And coming to the third one, man can deprive the water which has been to them the gift of God. So the power of man, the technology, the science which man is doing, that this is the line of Vibhuti saying, hey, we have captured the dam, we have captured the entire waterfall. God created that. It's a free gift of God. But we have taken the water away from Shiyotara people. We have deprived them of water. And that's the greatness. So the conflict between man versus machine, and also about nature versus man, can be found in this one statement. And coming to the fourth one, no, you have to find your own course. It's about the individual choices. So Crown Prince tells his dialogue to Sanjay when he is in dilemma, saying, hey, even I will come with you, Abhijit. Even I will come and save you. Even I'll be with you in the process of saving the waterfall. And then Crown Prince will tell, no, 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 you have your own path. My destiny is to free the waterfall. And that's how my entire fate works. And I will go for my own individual choice. And you have to find your own course. So it applies to everyone, right? Each one in this class, we are around 60 of us, and everyone will have their own talent. Maybe one is good in singing, one is good in dance, and maybe one is good in talking. So how each one will cultivate their own talent, how each one will take their own course. Maybe one person is wanting to voice out for justice, and he or she is pictured in the limelight. The other person who's going to do that might not be in the limelight. But the entire point is follow your own course. Like how you want to take up things, do what you want to do. Each one will differ. It's not like for your destiny, for your own success is in the line. That should be practiced. That's what we can take from the Crown Prince. He was very sure. He was not in line. He could have gone to glory. I mean, the glory, capturing kingdoms for the glory and all that. But he felt limelight is not important, but doing what is right to my heart is important. That's what we learn from the Crown Prince, right? That's what he is very sure of. I think at the present time, we have so much of competition, and not only one student is learning Paijo throughout India, there are many students learning Paijo, but how do you excel from what you're doing is in the hands of you. And it all doesn't mean that you should always be in the limelight to show yourself that you're successful. When you're content in your heart, it means that you're successful. That's how we find the Abhijit, the Crown Prince, to be. Next is about the flow of life to the waterfall, flow of waterfall. So that is a symbol that we find in the play. The waterfall mentioning to the flow of life, how there'll be tides, the ups and downs happening, there'll be tides happening for sure, but the flow of life should never be stopped. That's what we find in the life of the Crown Prince, as well as a symbol, the waterfall, connoting that the flow of life and the tides and the waves of the waterfall should go in a line. That's how the symbol is uh, adjacent to each other. So these are the few lines from the play, and I would like to move on, telling about